position in Super League is linked.
So what makes the Super League so good?
Take a look at the
and it's probably one of the most unique leagues in the world.
the most immersive experience possible.
The great is the competitiveness of it, and the talent that we have now on offer.
There's nothing else in the world like it. It's the most realistic sim racing experience anywhere.
Well, hello and welcome back to GPVWC Superleague. Yes, we are back after our long summer break. Apologies for the slightly late start to this broadcast, but we are in fact back here from the circuit to Francorchamps here in sunny Belgium. Back after the summer break, we're in qualifying. There's about 4 minutes left to go, and what a qualifying session it has been so far. There's been cars setting very quick lap times, and we're coming on to the closing stages of the session now. Who is going to get pole position here in Spa? That is the question. I'm Joshua Anderson, and I'll be with you all the way to find out who will take pole position and, in fact, the race win here at this brilliant Belgian circuit. And, well, it's a bit of a slightly different broadcast lineup today than the usual. I would normally have my esteemed Indian sensation, the brilliant Sandeep Singh, alongside me on commentary, but unfortunately he's doing cameras today. He's had to take over the running of the broadcast because our usual broadcast operator, Gerrit de Vries, has been called up to his own team, Holland Racing Team. So he will be taking the race start, meaning that we have had to bring in, obviously, Sandeep to do the actual broadcast running today. We should have a certain Ewan Gale joining us on commentary for the race, but he's just loading in and getting things ready. So I'll be here to take you to qualifying and warm-up at the very least. But as it stands here in the session right now, Liam Duval is leading the session. He's just going out to start another warm-up lap and then go onto a flyer. And Duval, of course, very hot topic at the moment, the reigning, recently crowned Super League Light champion. So following footsteps of the great Lucas Schmidt, who won the title in the inaugural season, Duval is the second champion now. And, well, he's already been called up to Adonis Engineering now, I presume, for possibly the rest of the season. Now he's on the Super League Lights Championship. He can focus on Super League, which many would argue is where he belongs. And he is proving that right now with a 141.445. And his teammate, Adam Maguire, in P3, going around with him. I presume these two are going to give you the slipstream. A very powerful component of the qualifying here. So naturally they will be using each other as draft buffers to get extra speed in the fastest sections of this track. They're just following each other around on the outlap now. Yeni Simic is currently P2, mind, in the Burst Esports car, the Basileia car, and he will be hoping to get a good lap time in as well, possibly take pole position away from Adonis. Reigning champion Yannick Bott is in P4 as it stands at a 144.769, 2 thousandths behind Adam Maguire. Very close run thing. Of course, Bok, the current championship leader as well. The title favourite heading into the second half of the season. Only a minute and 15 left to go in the session, so there is not long for these cars to get around the track. Bok and his teammates are not safe by any means of the imagination. They've got a minute to make it round to the rest of the lap. It's going to be tough, especially when the laps are this long. And we'll see if they've got it timed right. Duval and Maguire are certainly going to, they've actually split up at the end of the lap. Maguire is waiting there so Duval can get a clean run. I think he's all but ended his session having done a 1:41.1. Obviously, Duval having played his part, he will now get the toll back off Maguire coming out of the source, running down to Bruce and then into Radion. This is where it's going to matter. This is probably why Maguire gained those 310s. Duval is in the slipstream now. He's powering hard. He's got the gears set up for maximum speed. He's going to hit 340 kilometers an hour. Thanks to the draft in the DRS, one of the fastest points in the calendar. That Duval is not letting up, and he, on his Super League debut this year, wants to make it very clear that he's here to win races. Timer has just ticked down to 0. Yanni Simicic will not get another lap in. Yannick Bok will not get another lap in. His teammate has actually stuck himself in the pits, actually. Actually got stuck and lost his front wing in the pits, so Bok would not have gotten another lap in anyway. I think he missed out time-wise. Yanni Simicic, I think, just missed out. Duval, though, on a lap and looking to improve. Robin Panzer is not on a lap, but has done a 1:41.8. Maciej Mlinek is on a 1:41.8 as well. Right, Kilk on a 1:41.9 in P7 from Jarl Tyen, who makes his Super League return. Matthias Musi in P9 and Dennis Jordan, who is now 10th. So, still cars to do the laps. The qualifying grid is not set yet. There are penalties to take into account as well, but Simicic, obviously not going to improve. But Duval, possible pole position candidate here. Here he runs the final corner. What's his lap time going to be? Will he overtake Maguire? No, he doesn't improve. He stays on a 1:41.4. So it is pole position, and a well-needed pole position for Adam Maguire in the number 4 Adonis car. It is an Adonis front row lockout here in Spa. First and second for the Dutch team. That is exactly what they needed. And I'm joined now at precisely the right time to talk about this by Ewan Gale. Ewan, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to have you with us. And an Adonis 1-2 in qualifying. Exactly what they needed. Well, I think Ewan's just getting his microphone connected, actually. Apologies for this, but yeah, certainly what they were after. I'm sure Adam Maguire will be very, very happy with that. Pleased as punch, so to speak, with his results, having claimed that pole position. And several cars, obviously, do have penalties to save this race. I think, has Ewan got himself connected now? I don't think he has. I think he'll need to do a bit of a reset there, but just a couple of technical difficulties. He will be with us very shortly, but Liam Duval, second place, though, very, very good for him. Yanni Simicic, P3 in the end, from Yannick Bok, from Maciej Mlinek, from Robin Panzer, from Keersmakers, from Kilk, from Tyen, and Matthias Mus rounds out the top 10, though Jarl Tyen does have a 10-place penalty to serve, so it will actually be Matthias Mus from Dennis Jordan as your top 10 for the race. Jarl Tyen will start from 19th position. Right, Kilk actually has a penalty to serve too, so it'll be Jordan 9th and Fabrizio Gobi 10th will be your top 10 when it comes to the actual race. So Fabrizio Gobi and Dennis Jordan in a very, very good position here. They can take whatever tyres they like, and they will be able to start from 9th and 10th. That could give them a serious advantage. Gobi especially, who we know is very, very capable. We're just waiting to head into the warm-up now, where the drivers will be able to, well, declimatize their cars from this qualifying form into the race setup and just get their heads back in the game, so to speak, because qualifying here, such a different game than the race. I mean, the cars are a lot lighter. You'll be pushing your tyres to their absolute limit. You'll be getting constant slipstream from your teammates, and the race is nothing like that. It's heavier fuel loads, and it's much harder to keep the tyres on their best behaviour. I think Ewan Gale is with us now.
Hello, Josh.
Yes, you are. Ewan Gale, welcome to the commentary box. Glad to finally have you with us. 1-2 in qualifying for Adonis Engineering then here at Francorchamps. How crucial is that?
Yeah, it's really crucial. It means that they can deploy a bit of team tactics. You know, they don't have to do exactly the same thing on strategy. So, yeah, that should help them both against Simracing and Bock. It was a great lap by Maguire at the end of qualifying. I saw a big gap as well to Liam. So that's interesting. That kind of bodes a little bit ominously for the race.
Yeah, of course, very on form, these two cars. Yerny Simicic wasn't that very far behind, though, at P3 in the best car, and as one of the closest rivals to the championship, too. P3 will be exactly what he wanted out of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to think he's ahead of Yannick Bock as well, so, you know, there's more than one or two people in this championship fight, so whenever you're ahead of at least one of them, it's narrowing your options down. Now he can just look directly ahead to see if he can snatch a win today.
And Yannick Bock as well, reigning champion, going to start in P4 it seems, so he'll be right on their tail too. Really needs to be careful, these top three for Yannick Bock. He's the reigning champion for a reason. Looking further down the grid though, we have some interesting qualifiers. Martin Leineck P5, Robin Panzer P6, so good results and best overall. And then I want to talk about one of the other cars, Jarl Tyen, qualified in P8, but has a 10 place grid penalty to take. So we'll start 19th, Jarl Tyen, and we look to the tyres that he qualified on. Now, for all accounts and purposes, Jarl Tyen should not have done this race, but save for a rather nasty karting incident for Dan Brewer, he is here. Obviously, Dan Brewer, the normal full-time race driver for AG Sports, and we do wish him a very quick recovery and hope to see him on the grid as soon as possible. But Jarl Tyen getting his chance to come back to Super League then, Ewan Gale, a very talented driver, but the disadvantage of starting on his qualifying tyres from 19th might hurt him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to do something clever with his strategy. It will be interesting to see, you know, whether he tries to take the tyres long or whether he'll blitz them at the start, make an early pit stop and see if he can lead people that way. Shame about Dan Brewer. I've enjoyed watching him this season. He's been pretty quick as well, and had luck being on his side, he might have had a few really decent points finishes on the podium as well. And I know he had that unfortunate incident in France, so wish him all the best. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see Jarl come in. He's very experienced, he knows what he's doing, and see what he can do from down the grid.
One of the most experienced is going, really. I mean, I used to race against him back in the earlier days of GPV. We were talking 2014, 2015, but I was never on his pace. That's why I'm here talking about him rather than actually out there on the track today. Yeah, and his images going back out for another warm-up run sort of stint on his tyres. Of course, all the drivers will be doing things like practice starter here and getting used to the car and high fuel loads in this warm-up session here. And so really, a sort of session where these drivers can reacclimatise to the race setup, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they've been on very low fuel loads and absolutely thrashing the cars around the track during qualifying. I know that some drivers find different qualities in the warm-up. I know that some drivers don't really take it as seriously as some of the others. But yeah, you're right. It's just getting used to the race trim now. Interesting in a few of the other series, the hard tyres obviously on a different car, but the hard tyres have been decent race tyres, or the harder tyres should I say. So it will be interesting to see what people do with the strategy today, especially like you said, 11th and 12th Jordan Gobi.
Yeah, of course, very interesting starting positions for them. Obviously Gobi and Jordan with the actual advantage here because they can start on any tyres they like. I was hoping we'd have a track guide for this race, but unfortunately we don't. So I'm going to see if we can find a car that's about to start lap, and we'll take you on a track guide live, so to speak, round this fantastic Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I'm just looking for any cars that are about to start lap. Yannick Bock is actually just starting one now as he comes across the start finish, having done a 46-0. Please stay on the laps, please, Yannick, as we come round La Source, the top hairpin, and then powers out of it down into two of the most famous corners in racing. La Source, obviously being the corner has just come out, and he hits Eau Rouge, then he hits Radion, up the hill, comes out and onto the Camel Straight. This is the fastest part of the circuit. If you've got the slipstream here, you can easily hit 340 kilometers an hour. In race trim, you're going to be limited to about 320 as he brakes now for the chicane here. It's right, then left, and then right again as he heads round here. And Yannick Bock pushing obviously quite hard on this corner. And then here we go round once more before we come into what was once known as No Name, but now is Jackie X corner. And he powers out of that before heading into Pouon, the long left-hander, almost 180 degrees. This corner, long, hard, and challenging on the tyres. It is not an easy corner. We've seen many cars go off over the years, most notably recently Antonio Giovinazzi in the Belgian Grand Prix had a rather nasty impact in his Alfa Romeo. Obviously he was fine, but a very tough corner. Now we come into 16 rounds Paul Frey, and this is where the cars start to accelerate a bit more as we come through into Blanchimont, through 17 and 18, another fast corner setting up for the kink left. Then there's only 2 more corners to go. A slight right before the bus stop now. 2 more turns, 19 and 20. Flicks it right, flicks it left, and powers across the line. And Yannick Bock, that was a very good lap of Spa-Francorchamps. It's 1:45.8 to be precise. Yeah, I mean, Spa-Francorchamps, Ian, this is one of those circuits, really, isn't it? Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. But it's a real driver's track. It's tough in some corners. I mean, you got the likes of Lecombe, 7, 8, and 9, so tough on the tyres. Brissell as well, turn 10 and 11, Jackie Hicks corner. Pouon, that whole section, really, from 7 through to 16, can be so hard on the tyres. I don't know whether we've lost him again or not, but I will say it is certainly tough on the tyres, this track. And well, looking at the temperatures today, it's 20
easy,
degrees.
making sure that they get the car to the end of the race.
Oh, you just cut back in there, Frizz Ewan. We have you back. So yeah, we were saying, I think, about the tyres. They've got to take it easy on these tyres. I mean, it's 26 degrees out there on the track. So do you think thermal degradation is going to be a problem yet today?
Yeah, possibly. It'll be interesting to see what all the drivers have to do to keep their cars on the track. So I was just saying before I cut out, we've had a few different issues, not just with the tyres, but with the effects of the dirty air. So obviously the dirty air is going to scrub your tyres a little bit more as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what everyone has to do individually. Obviously different driving styles as well will contribute to that more.
Indeed, and well, as far as tyre strategy is concerned, do you think maybe there's going to be many teams using the hard tyres today? I reckon it's going to be more of a soft medium affair if you can manage your tyres. The hards obviously being an option if you can't. I mean, softs around here are really going to gain you more time because it's a longer lap. It's one of the longest laps we do. So the tyre difference between the compounds is going to be exacerbated.
Yeah, maybe someone like Jarl, who's obviously taking the penalty, he's on his qualifying tyres. And we'll have to try and do something cute maybe to work his way through the field. He might go for an earlier pit stop, thrash the tyres, get as far up as he can before he makes his pit stop, and then essentially undercut everyone as well. Obviously that'll leave him susceptible to attack at the end of the race with people on fresher tyres, but you know, it might be what he needs to do to get up the order in the first place.
Indeed, that might be what he has to do to get back up the order, so to speak. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. I'm told there's only one YTF1 this race, as we see Alex Cooper take a bit of a spin on the stream there. Yeah, I'm told there's only one YTF1 this race. Thomas Vack in the number 6 car. Obviously, Sandeep Singh, former driver of that car. Now, obviously, Thomas Vack in the car. Once fielded by Laurie Alpes, who seems to have not returned for the remainder of the season, which is a shame. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Vack gets on. I've not heard of him, I must say, but obviously must be capable if he's in Superleague. Obviously proven his worth possibly in the Academy and Formula Challenge Series. So getting his big break with Cosmo YTF1 today. And well, Giovanna's up. I've just seen Giovanna Zapala not racing this round, unfortunately, and the team's not replacing him for this round. So yeah, possibly due to the lateness of it or because of something else, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how Thomas Vack can do. David Feidick wanted to note as well. I believe he has a penalty to serve in the Red Arrow. Obviously, former double world champion David Feidick has not really had the year he's wanted, but has really been seeming a lot less under pressure than he was in his years at the likes of Nordstein Racing. Now he's driving for his own team. So good to see him there. Obviously going to be starting further down the order than he liked because of that penalty. And, well, you and Gail, if you had to pick one driver to look out for this race, who would it be?
There's a few. I mean, there's a few people that, you know, they don't really catch the highlights, if you like, because of your Maguires and your Box and your Simonchiches. But people like Masim Mlinek, we know he's got the pace, and he does tend to put in a really good race performance as well. So I'd like to see what Mlinek could do. Fiduk and Kilk are another two. You know, again, we know they've got the pace. Haven't really showed what they can do all season long, but we know that they've got the pace to on their day do something quite spectacular. So there's a few, and we've already mentioned Jarl Tyne, who's taken the grid drop as well. We know he's fast and he should be able to fight through the field.
Indeed, and well, I've just been told actually in the comments by Wupke Hoekstra, thanks Wupke for this. Thomas Vack actually finished 4th yesterday in Super League Lights, so well, that's lived completely under my radar. Apologies for that. We'll have to see if he can replicate that form here in Super League. Of course, it is a totally different game to Super League Lights. I mean, Liam Duval obviously maybe starting second, being the reigning champion, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to say what it's going to be like for Thomas, because that Cosmo YTF1, not one of the best cars on the field, and the gaps between the cars here are even bigger than they are in Lights. So it's going to be a tough race, but it's going to be an interesting one for sure. And of course, special shout out goes to our good friend Gerrit de Vries, who will be starting for his own team, Holland Racing Team, in the number 86 car, having stepped in for this race here. And, well, let's hope he's as good on the track as he is on cameras. Although, to be honest, having seen some of what he's been capable of before, that should be more than likely.
Yeah, you'd think so. And I mean, he's done all right when he's raced this season. The problem is he's been involved in a few accidents when he's been racing in Formula Challenge, I believe. So good to see him having a race. We'll see what he can do in the HRT. We know it's a decent car. Going back to Thomas Vaca, he had a bit of a iffy start to the season, but he's really progressed in the last few races in Super League Lights, and like we said, he had a really good result yesterday. So it'd be good to see what he can do in the Cosmo.
It is going to be interesting to see what it can do. Of course, the grid being just set right now. Some drivers obviously wondering where they have penalties. Jarl Tyne in particular, I think it was from a year ago, and penalties do stick around for 2 years or so here in GPV. So he will have to serve that penalty, considering that he did actually earn it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we go here. Obviously, in the comments, let us know who you think is going to win this race. Personally, I think, well, I'm going to tell you on the grid when we actually get on the grid, when we get around the formation now. But there are a lot of candidates here, I think. This could be a bit of a topsy-turvy race. No rain forecast, supposed to be dry throughout here in sunny Spa, so could be anyone's game, really, especially with how tough the circuit is. Anyone could make a mistake. Anyone could drop the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I was picking someone now just purely off qualifying pace, it'd be Adam Maguire. 3/10 is a massive gap to have after qualifying, especially when we've seen how tight it's been all season. So Maguire for me.
Well, that is a very interesting call and not a bad one in the slightest. So we'll see if Adam Maguire can, in fact, get himself into that race-winning position and go on and win the race. It's a race winning at this point of the season he desperately needs. And, well, I think personally, and this is going to be a bit of an interesting one, I think we're both going to go for Adonis cars, but I'm going to go for Liam Duval. I think the reigning Super League Lights champion, bolstered by brilliant results throughout the season and racing yesterday, will be able to transfer that form. Well, was he racing yesterday? I don't know. But Liam Duval, champion at least in Super League Lights. But we all know how good he is. And, well, there's a reason we call him Liam de Brickval here in Super League. Think back to Austria 2018 when he had that stunning showdown with Jeffrey Fournier. Let's hope he can bring that form into today's race.
Yeah, he did indeed race yesterday. It's where he clinched the title, so we know he's got a pace around this track this season as well. Not a bad shout, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hope to see if I'm right, but we're not far now from the race start itself, though, just setting the grid and doing a couple of things, a couple of technical gremlins on the broadcast side and on the server side, it seems, but we should be all good for the race. That's the thing with technology. It never works when you need it to, does it, Ewan?
No, that's why it took so long getting in tonight. So, yeah, fingers crossed it'll stay clear for the rest of the race.
I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't had any technical difficulties or saying that. I probably jinxed myself now, so... Either way, we are going to the grid now. 44 laps of Spa-Francorchamps action coming up. It doesn't seem like much, But it is. It's a long lap, and 44 laps is going to be a tough one. Really opens up a lot of opportunities here. And I'm told that Liam did win yesterday. It was his 10th Super League Lights win in a row. There's a reason why I picked him. He's going to make it 2 wins in 2 races.
Yeah, like I said, he's got a good chance, but I do think Maguire's got the pace. And like we said before, you never know what they're going to do with the Adonis. Are they going to split strategy? Are they going to use Duval to almost hold up Simracing and Bok? Obviously, Duval coming in halfway through a season. He hasn't got any championship aspirations now. Maguire has. It would make sense to me if they use him as a bit of a roadblock.
True, but if he's faster, then he's going to go ahead anyway, isn't he? We know there's barely any... well, there was some team orders that had done us in 2016, I think it was, but Liam Duval, I don't think is the sort of person. I think he's capable of winning. But it's going to be interesting to see if anything does happen at Adonis. First and second they are on the grid. Maguire from Duval. And it's going to be very interesting to see if there is any gameplay going on here. Will Duval take the lead? Will Maguire? Because you've got to remember, Yannick Bok, championship leader, P4, but he has Yenny Simracing in front of him. Simracing could inadvertently be the roadblock that they need.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is part of the thing. You never know really until the flag drops to start or the lights go out even. So we'll see what happens in the first lap, and I do expect that if the two Adonises are still out in front after lap 1, I do expect them to stay in this formation.
Well, we'll see if that happens, of course. Matty Meinek, P5 long, Kiersmackers P6 notably as well. And as we move down the grid, it is Robin Panzar and Fabrizio Gobi who take the big opportunities here from the tyre rules that they are given and the penalties that were applied to cars in front of them. Panzar and Gobi both starting on the mediums in 9th and 10th. That may help them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best place to be, especially if you're on those mediums. So let's see what they do. Obviously, they have to keep out of trouble on the first lap, and not take too many risks. Make sure that the tyres get far enough into the race to get the strategy that they need.
Indeed, and another notable driver as well, Alex Cooper, P11 in the Street Fighter car, notably devoid of Red Bull branding now. Don't know what has happened there. Maybe the sponsorship agreement now ran out, so they've reverted to their traditional yellow, black and white colours and looking very nicely for it, may I add. Almost better than when they didn't have the Red Bull sponsorship. Firstly, Eros Micheli, P12 for Go Speed as well, and his teammate, the Argentinian racing legend, Augustin Canavino, P13. Great to see Augustin back on the grid. Extremely capable driver, and hopefully Go Speed will get good results here today. Thomas Schwark as well, P14 for Cosmo by TF1. Very highly rated. Hopefully he can do well today too. Fabio Sixter in the Mad Cape. That was a big kill when he moved over from Street Fighter to Mad Cape. He starts P15. Then you got the likes of Cameron Roger, Ray Kilk further down the order. I am surprised to see Tom Parker there as well. I didn't know Tom was racing today in the other Street Fighter. He's 21st. Sergio Harris in the flag to fly 22nd as well. New driver in Andrea Belloni for the Abruzzi team. He starts P23. Vincent Good P24. Gerrit de Vries starts 25th. Watch out for him as well. David Friday 26th. And Jarl Tyen starts last actually of all the drivers on the hard compound for Edge Esports. It's going to be a real fight to the finish for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the tyres actually are. I don't know whether they've updated properly yet, but I thought Jarl qualified in the top 10 and therefore would have to start on his quality tyres.
Yeah, but yes, you see, he may have deleted his times. That's a good point. Actually, we've just heard, having got the penalty, he may have said, right, wipe the slate clean. I'll take the penalty starting last, and he gets to start on hard. That's an ingenious move, but we'll see if it pays dividends for him as the cars line up with the grid. Tyen is taking his grid box now, so we are almost ready to head off here in Virtual Spa Francorchamps. Watch those lights, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Maguire on the left. It's going to be Duval on the right. Who's going to get the start? We have 5 stacks ready and 4. And we're racing. It's a good start from Maguire by the looks of it, but it's a better start from Simracing, who dives on the inside, but he gets a bit slippery there. Duval is going to get a bit of the exit out of the sauce as they all come hurtling out. It looks fairly clean from where we're sitting. Eros Micheli seems to have gotten a good start as well. George Sutton further around the back. Tom Parker all moving nice and fast. Everyone's got out of La Sauce without issue and moving down into the Camel Straight. Adam Maguire. Oh, there's a big crash. That's right, that's Tyen. Jarl Tyen has stacked it out of the Eau Rouge Radion Complex, I don't have replays enabled, so we're going to have to check the stream for what happened here. Time was coming out the corner, and he was coming through. Was there an accident? Yes, there was an accident ahead of him, and he dropped it too. 2 cars dropping it at Radion, and out of the race goes Jarl Tyne immediately, and Andrea Belloni as well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this in the other series as well. A lot of dirty air affecting the cars through Eau Rouge. That is something that we've seen over the last week and a half. Expect to see more of it as well.
Well, he will be fuming with himself, Jarl Tyne, having done that and then had the accident after starting last. Andrea Belloni, an unfortunate end of the race as well for the Bruzy car as well. Everyone else seems to have gotten away unscathed. It was only those 2 cars involved in that rather terrifying incident at Radion, but Yerny Simicic has powered up the second in and amongst all the chaos and is now directly challenging Maguire. So Liam Duval is going to have to do something, like you speculated, Ewan, to fend off the grid that will want to chase Adam Maguire.
Yeah, absolutely. Simicic had a lightning start, didn't he? He managed to get down the inside of Duval. I don't think it was the Duval that had that much of a bad start really, but yeah, Simicic flew off, managed to keep the line into Eau Rouge. Duval had to get out of the power, and that helped with the run down into Les Combes as well.
Yeah, Les Combes obviously helped in the run down today. Cars coming through La Source Radion, Eau Rouge Radion after La Source, of course. Now Dirty can play a big part here. That's why we saw cars go off in the first lap. Mirko Latini, I'm watching, having a great run on Fabio Sixta here. And we're on cameras, we're leaving Duval on the stream as well. Duval was chasing Simicic, but Latini had a great run there. I was watching him. Is he going to go around the outside here? Yes, he is. Italy, boom. Mirko Latini, what a move at the P17. That's what happens when the dirty air doesn't affect you. That's what happens when it's all speed and no instability.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had a lovely little slipstream from right Kilk down the straight as well. As Sixta pulled out to defend, he lost the slipstream that Kilk was giving, so that was another little bit of help that Lucchini had. Really good move, got it done on the brakes.
Indeed, and we are watching now here to see what will happen with the rest of these cars here. Adam Maguire, Yerny Simicic, Liam Duval is your top 3 obviously, but Duval pushing Simicic closely here. He is gunning for him. He wants to get back in that P2, and he's not wasting any time doing so. This is exactly the response he needed to that slightly underwhelming start for Liam Duval as he comes round into the final 2 corners now. He's not going to try and move on Simicic from here, and that would be ludicrous. He's going to try and set up the run down the Kemmel Street, you got to feel, and do something from there. Duval going to be lining that up. He's not going to go into the source either, but the source will be a good indicator if he can make the move. He's only 4 tenths down as to come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. DRS enabled this lap then, and Duval had a bit of a wider entry point into La Source. He'll get really good drive from that. He's a lot closer than he was on the last lap. DRS helping him as well. This should be done pretty early on.
This is going to be done very quickly. He doesn't want to waste too much time here. He's going to go. Where's he going to go around the outside? He's going to get the slipstream there. Is this a done deal? Yes, it is. Goes straight through. No questions asked into P2 again. I'm not entirely sure Yerny fought that too hard.
No, I think there's no point wasting your time, especially if you're not as fast at this part of the race. It looks like Yerny's actually quite a bit slower than Bock, Jordan and Kirsmakers as well. It's not just Duval being fast in the Adonis.
Yeah, it's not just Duval as well. Maguire is really starting to run away. This is the Adam Maguire we saw at the start of the season here again. This is the Adam Maguire that we saw, that we thought was going to run away with the championship. And then his form just kind of went. I think over the summer break, he's gotten back, he's focused himself, he's put his head back in the game where it firmly needs to be. He himself admitted he wasn't really able to do much practice for the races, but now we've come out of the summer break, I think he's more prepared. And this is the Adam Maguire of old. This is the Adam Maguire we thought was going to dominate the championship. And right now, compared to Yannick Bock, he is dominating. He's going to pull that points gap right back in again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, all of these guys take this so seriously. They put in so much effort. So if you do miss a bit of practice, you will lose a bit of time on track as well. So, yeah, if he's been able to practice properly for this round, that will probably be where his speed has come back to him.
It's almost like riding a bike, driving a Formula 1 car or a Superleague car like this. You never forget how to do it, but without proper practice, you can become rusty. And Well, Adam Maguire, by his own standards, wasn't practicing as much as he wanted to do, which is why he wasn't as fast. Now his head's in the game, and he's just blinding everybody else with his pace. And even Liam Duvall, who I presume has done as much practice as Maguire, is pulling away from Simracing now, and Yerni Simracing is not one to not practice. So we're looking at P7 though, as look at this, Matthias Moose blitzes Matthew Lineck down the straight. That's DRS for you, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Lineck into P8 and down one position compared to Moose, who moves up in 7th.
Yeah, and absolutely, and like we saw with the Duval move on Simracing as well, all of that begins at La Source. If you don't get a good drive out of La Source, you don't get a good run through a Rouge, Radion and onto the Camel Straight.
There's a huge battle behind them as well, from 15th through 18th, all for 19th even, as George Sutton wants to get involved in this bit of the train here. 6th time, Licini, Roger, all being held by Kilk. Well, Kilk's actually starting to break away, so it's more Cameron Roger holding the likes of Licini and Sixto behind. So there's lots of battles going up and down the midfield here. Thomas Vack is in P14 of the Cosmo YG1 doing very well for himself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kilk's just got past Roger in the last lap or so, so that would be why they've all bunched up. Expect Kilk to get onto the back of Thomas Vack soon. Yeah, and we've seen in the other series as well that you know, it's very difficult to overtake when they're all in the train. But as soon as there's a little gap between 1 and 2 cars, all of a sudden overtaking opportunities blow wide open.
That's the thing as well, as we're watching Cameron Roger, who gets swung to the outside of Licini, going around the outside trying to make something work at the bus stop, but unfortunately he doesn't. That was a bold move from Mirko though. I mean, if he'd gone around the outside of there, that would be amazing. Cameron Roger holding him behind though. I expect many overtakes will happen in this train as we come down the Kemmel Straight. I'm just looking a bit further forward to see if anyone else is in particular threat. I'm not seeing anybody particularly, so I think we'll stay where we are now. Although Canapino and Cooper could be an interesting battle. Oh, Mirko Licini got very unstable there.
Yeah, did well to hold on to that. He got way out of it, but now he's in trouble from behind.
Oh, hang on. Cameron Roger there was smoke coming from the back of his car there. May have had a brake dragging or may have had the brakes on for some reason. There was definite brake smoke coming off the back of his car. One of his tyres seemed to be locking. Is something wrong with that flag to flag?
I don't think so. I think he managed to get through the next few corners all right. He did really well to set Lucchini up. Lucchini broke way too late into the com, and Roger was able to take the position back through Malmedy.
That definitely looked like he had a brake jammed on or something, because there was smoke coming from one of his tyres. I saw the tyre marks as well, so something awry briefly there for Cameron Roger. I think he's got it back under control though, and yeah, he seems to be running fine now, although there's a bit of a train forming here. Look, from Yerni Simracing to Yannick Bock to Dennis Jordan, it's spaced out, but they're all going to be going very fast. One mistake could really close the gap here.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the Adonises are starting to check out a bit. Everyone else looks a little bit more even in the top 10. Yerni Simracing definitely a little bit slower than Bock. Bock is probably going to have a go now on this lap coming up.
Yeah, Bock is going to be an interesting quantity here as we go down into La Source once more. This is lap 6 now. Barely, scarcely believable it's already happened this quickly, but these are quick cars indeed, and we are slowly but surely approaching the 25% mark. We're at about 11 now. But Yannick Bock is possibly going to have a go here if he's close enough. Remember, he's going to have the DRS and a very slight slipstream to his advantage here. Compare the top speeds of the two cars. Simracing struggling to break 320. Bock is already doing 340 as he hits the corners now into the La Source. He goes. We've lost Tom Parker, I've just noticed. He seems to have retired with a suspension-related accident. May have dropped it somewhere on the track, but Tom Parker is out. That is unfortunate. Yannick Bock, though, pushing hard to try and catch Simracing. He is really giving it the beans here. 20 kilometres faster down the Camel Straight is not a bad way to start.
No, it's not, and it's very interesting. I seem to remember back to Canada, Simracing had one of the higher top speeds of everyone in the race. So interesting to see how setup differs between tracks. And yeah, Bock looking to have the advantage around Spa.
Yeah, Yannick really going for it now, and Yanni Simracing really under threat from the reigning champion, you may think, but if anyone can deal with pressure, it's Yanni Simracing. We all know just how good he is in these cars. Yanni really pushing hard, and Well, as the reigning, we believe, well, we know, we've said this many times before on this stream, the reigning Formula Sim Racing World Champion, Yanni Simracing, knows he's worth his salt, knows his stuff in an open wheeler. He can fend off pretty much anyone, give him an opportunity, and he will. And look at this, Dennis Jordan's getting involved now. Here's the other evolution. Maybe, though, we'll be thinking of backing off the likes of Kiers Magnus and Moose.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, the longer that this goes on, the more time the Adonises will make up out front. So critical now for the race that Bock and Jordan get through.
Yeah, obviously those evolution cars do like to stress the tyres though, don't they? So going to be interesting to see how long they go. I mean, tyre life preservation can be key here at Francorchamps, especially with the lap being so long and there being so many corners, like all the way here from Lecombe, these corners here, 7, 8, 9, to the exit of turn 16 onto Coburg Paul Frey. That whole section is so hard on tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so high speed as well. Yeah, it's all high speed as well. There's not really any slow corners. You've got Pouon, Fagnes, Chicane, Stavlo's medium speed as well. That's probably the slowest you got. So, like you said, half a lap of really, really hard punishment on the tyres. It could come down to who looks after them the most.
Yeah, it really is going to be an important factor of this race. Going to be interesting to see how we go throughout it. Keeping an eye on all the battles though, as we are. Very important that cars don't lose too much time to each other in the early stages of this race, but we will be keeping close eyes on all the battles. I'm keeping an eye on Lauren Kiersmackers because he's not actually that far off the likes of Jordan. Yeah, this top train here between 3rd and 6th, this could get spicy very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
As 13 as well. Guzman Canapino, I've just seen, got a bit squirrely under braking at the final chicane there. Right, Kilt could have a goal soon, as could Thomas Vac, who's dropped the T15. Kilt Canapino could be an interesting battle, but I'm keeping my eyes firmly on these top runners here, because look at where Bock is in relation to Simicic. Remember, he's 20 kilometers an hour up on Yerny Simicic, so he is going to be flying towards him by the end of this straight. You can see they're almost in different classes of cars here, but he can't do anything. He's just to brake so much earlier.
Yeah, Simicic has got such good drive out of La Source that he's just extending the gap, the same out of the bus stop as well, so Bock really can't do anything down the straight. Kilk's on 2 compounds softer tyres than Canapino, so expect him to make a move soon. But Robin Panzar on the mediums is lapping faster than Maguire at the moment, so that's interesting. He's only 8 seconds down. How close is he going to be to the top come the end of the race?
Well, that is interesting. Robin Panzer obviously getting the hammer hard down now if he's going faster on the mediums, but obviously you've got to consider that those tyres will last longer anyway, so you can afford to be a bit more brash with them. Obviously, they will last longer, they will get him further into the race. Slightly not quite as grippy as the other tyres in this series, but definitely better of dealing with heat as well, you've got to remember. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to considering that factor as well, that obviously after a few laps, they're going to be better. You know, possibly...
Crossover point.
The softs might degrade.
Yeah, there's a crossover point, definitely. It looks like he's slower on this lap, so I don't know whether Maguire had an off lap on laps 7 or 8. But yeah, expect to see that. The fact is that they haven't lost that much time on these mediums so far, as we've seen throughout the rest of the season.
That's another point as well. Obviously, time loss on the mediums. You know, these tyres can be very, very close to each other. You know, they've been designed so that obviously they all have their advantages and disadvantages, but you know, softs won't last as long as the mediums, but they are faster. You know, the tyres this year are some of the best tyres I think we've had in any recent season of Super League. They just work. It's a simple choice between soft, medium and hard. You know, it's opens up the strategy. I mean, in years gone by, we've seen 5 or 6 stop races on the ultra softs, and that was no fun, was it?
No, exactly, and you can tell that the guys obviously really enjoy racing on these tyres as well. They seem to be absolutely ragging the cars around every single lap, so yeah, it's good for the show.
It is, and well, obviously the mod, obviously this year the car's being very well received, and they've made for some fantastic racing as we've called this season, and hopefully throughout the rest of the season it'll be just as action packed as it has been. Yannick Bock, I'm still watching here in P4. Not well, he is closing in on Simracing. He's not closing in that quickly in the grand scheme of things. Although obviously Liam Duvall catching Adam Maguire by the looks of it. You're right there to say that there could be a battle on between the Adonises. There could be position switch. Will they be let race? That's a question. What will Menno Clont be doing regarding the drivers? This is what we were querying at the start of the race. I thought Duvall looked a little quicker, but will they be allowed to race? That's the key question here.
I think they will, as long as Simracing and Bock are behind. If it was the other way around, if Simracing and Bock were in front, I think then we'd have solid team orders.
Yeah, Adam Maguire noticeably slower on the previous lap. So we're going to see what Duvall does. Duvall's in DRS range, remember. Watch Adam Maguire's telemetry for me, please, you and Gale, and see if he lifts off. Because I'm watching Liam Duvall. He is hard down as he comes down the Kemmel Straight. 330 kilometers an hour, 335. He's going to back off. Duvall backs out. He is not going for it just yet. There's all behind. Gerrit Simracing has been taken by Yannick Bock. That is what we were wondering what would happen. Bock had the overspeed. Simracing did not. And now the burst is in the jaws of the other Revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. He managed to get better drive out of La Source, so it kept him closer through the run at Eau Rouge and Radion. So that's really where that move was made. Now let's see what Dennis Jordan can do behind, or will Simmons just get a nice bit of slipstream and DRS from Yannick?
Yeah, Bock's just going full send now. I mean, he's in clear air, he can. This might have been why we know those evolutions are good at saving the tyres. He may have been saving the tyres for this exact assault he's about to mount on the two Adonises. Maybe they won't be allowed to race because Bock is free.
Yeah, but I kind of, from my side, I don't really understand why you would let your rivals get 3.5, 4 seconds down the road. You may as well get it done straight away and then save your tyres in a bit of clean air.
Well, I mean, maybe he knows something we don't, but either which way, the two Adonises, look how close they are now coming across the start-finish line. If Liam Duvall doesn't go for it here, then there are definitely tactics in play. He's in 8th gear as he comes down into La Source, knocks it down to first. He is pushing hard now, is Liam Duvall. He is really giving it absolutely everything at the moment. Back into gear as he flies through the corners. Let's see if he goes for the DRS and gets the overspeed again. He's going to hit the button and he's going to speed up. He is going to swing to the outside this time, and this time he is going to go through. Liam Duvall assumes the race lead. We thought this might happen. It has now.
His tyres look a little bit better. He took a much nicer line through the bus stop through La Source, and he was able to stick so close through Eau Rouge. Yeah, if he's got the better tyres, they may as well let him go. Maguire didn't really fight it, obviously they're being teammates, but he didn't lift off either, so that was a bona fide overtake.
We have seen times this season where Maguire has lifted off to left someone behind through, when it's been for a position where he concedes the fight to consolidate a lower position, where he's just backed off and let him go, but obviously he didn't back off this time, he just let him go because he was that much faster. Duvall then, race leader on lap 11 of 44. When he completes this lap, we will be a quarter of the way through the race. That will be an interesting point to judge things from. Will that overtake be the point at which Liam Duvall wins the Belgian Grand Prix, or has there been a bit more to come yet? Will there be more to come? We don't know, but we do know that Robin Panzar has had a penalty removed. That was a drive-through, and that will be reviewed after the race. Often, that is related to things like track extensions. So if it's judged that he did in fact extend the track limits, he will be that penalty will be reimposed in the form of a time penalty. So he's not out of the woods, but he doesn't have to worry about that.
No, absolutely. Looking further down, Gobi's gotten past Panzar to be the lead medium tyre runner, then that could be crucial at the end of the race.
Panzar obviously behind Gobi at the moment. That could be crucial if he is judged to be in violation of track limits and then he doesn't proceed to finish like 20 or so seconds ahead of Gobi. Those positions will reverse, but obviously we presume innocence until proven otherwise, so as it stands, it's a straight fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just the way we like it. We love fights, just direct fight to position. It makes it so much easier. We don't have to do the maths.
No, exactly, and we all want to see everything resolved on track anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's what we're here for. It's what we like to watch, and if we didn't like seeing it happen on track, we wouldn't bother watching. So.
Yeah, we love on track action. That's why we're here. That's why we race to see these battles etched into the books of history on the circuits in which we race. So, going to be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, Panzer obviously now going to be fighting hard with Goldie for P9. Mleinek, Moose, Kiersmakers, Jordan, Simitic all in fights too. Bok as well. But it doesn't look like Maguire made the wrong choice. I mean, letting Duval go was not the wrong choice. Look how close the gap is now. Duval putting away.
No, absolutely, and Maguire obviously is harder on his tyres than most others. We've seen that through this season. Obviously, he's getting a nice bit of slipstream and DRS from his teammate, but when will he pit, and more importantly, what tyres will he put on? Will he go for a harder compound to make sure he gets to the end of the race?
Well, we'll have to see ultimately when pit stops come around. I suspect personally, in about 2 to 3 laps time, we'll be seeing some cars in, maybe even shorter, who knows, but going to be interesting to see who does go for what tyre-wise. That could shape the race in itself. I'm looking a bit further down the grid now to see the likes of... Oh, look at this. We could have an interesting one here. P11 and P12. Eros Mashirley doing a good job in P11 at the moment. But right Kilk is close. This could be an easy shot at DRS here if Kilk reminds himself, fancies himself at the front though. Simitic got close there. Simitic got close at the front there, which is being told, and we saw that he did have a go. I've just seen George Sutton's out, but here comes right Kilk down the inside. And Erasmus Shirley here, nicely played right, slots it to P11. No questions asked, bish bash bosh, easy as you like.
Yeah, Wright's doing a really good job on those soft tyres. He's wasting no time and fighting his way through the midfield. It looked like Simicic, I don't know whether I missaw that, but it looked like Simicic didn't have his DRS open, so I don't know whether he deliberately didn't go for a move, or did he lift off? So so that's interesting. I think Bok made a move out of Stavilo on the lap previous, which is why Simicic was so close.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see there, but obviously Simicic currently still behind Bok, but could go for another run on the next lap. Obviously, Mashirley has lost that position to Kilk in the meantime. So that seems to be solved already, actually. His right is absolutely blasting off into another realm here. Gobi and Panzer could be one to watch on the next lap as well. I'm watching there. But really, the fight is Bok Simitic at the moment. Maguire, though, Adam Maguire and Liam Duval look closer. Yeah, he's just reeled in 2/10.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that Simicic and Maguire seem to have better secondary phases in this stint. They looked as if they were struggling a few laps ago, but all of a sudden they found second win. So that's something to keep an eye out for at the end of the second stint as well, at the end of the race.
Keep your eyes on Yanni Simicic this time. He's going to be the one trying to go for a move on Yannick Bok. We'll compare the top speeds. Yanni is going to go for about 330, 335, 337. He's got him for sure here. Yep, he's faster as well in the straight line. Bok was hitting about 336 at the end of the straight with the DRS and the draft. We reckon Simicic probably could have done about 340. So Yanni will be running less wing, and you've got to consider the car upgrades too.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because he was so much slower in a straight line at the start of the race. So wonder what's going on there. Was he saving a bit of the tyres? Was he taking it easy at the start to extend this stint further?
Well, if anyone's a tyre saver, it's Yanni Simicic. We've seen that this season. There's a lot of drivers who are good at it. Not quite as good as Yanni, though. We've seen him extend and extend and extend, and that's been his boom. And that's been his ace in the hole, so to speak, this entire season, being the tyre whisperer.
Yeah, absolutely. But he wasn't slow at the start of the stint, but everyone else was faster. So all of a sudden, like you said, he's got that secondary sort of, well, second gear really at the end of the stint, and all of a sudden he's making himself. I don't really know how to explain it, because he was so much slower than the front guys at the start of the race. Very interesting.
Well, I mean, some things are just beyond explanation, to be honest, and maybe Yanni Simicic's talents are one of them. There are some people in this world who are just so good. Oh, we have car in, that's Maguire. That's Adam Maguire in on lap 14. Going to start lap 15 now, and he's in the pits. Now, what tyre is he going to take? Will it be soft, medium, or soft, hard? I think it might be hard at this point in the race, and it is. It's hard tyres to the end for Adam Maguire. So there you go. Will the others follow suit? He seems to. Well, he had a bit of a weight getting out of his pit box there. Maybe there was some damage that needed to be fixed or an adjustment on the rear.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of traffic coming in as well, so you know he's got to hope that some of these cars get out of the way sooner rather than later. Be interesting to see if people spot that and maybe try and extend.
Well, he's come out behind Thomas Vac there in the Cosmo YT on, so outside the points. So we know then that the delta is about 22 seconds for a pit stop. We know this from that calculation alone there. So Liam Duval, as it stands, is going to come out possibly ahead of his teammate, but if he comes out ahead of Vac, then he's gained time. We'll have to see when he pits, but we know that that is the delta. It's actually a quite short pit lane here at Spa.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously it cuts in through turn one as well. Interestingly, Vac was 2 seconds slower than Duval, so if Maguire does catch, he needs to get past ASAP.
That's going to be important, obviously, in the long run, but we'll have to see if Maguire can keep going. It seemed like there was definitely a weight on that back. I don't know whether there's any repairs or any alterations, maybe took some wing on, put some wing off, changed some tyre pressures. There's all sorts of things you can do in the pit stop for these cars. As Liam Duval comes in, yet we thought Duval would come in this lap, and he has done. So Simracing takes the lead. Now, it would not surprise me to see Duval go in the same strategy. We assume hards for the Dutchman here. Where he's going to come out is interesting, though, because we're expecting him to come out ahead of his teammates. If he doesn't, then something has gone wrong. He's on the hards, and you see, yep, he just drops and comes straight out. Maguire dropped the front first, and then the back. There was definitely a delay with Adam Maguire. Liam Duval is already out the pits ahead of Agustin Canapino. So that is, Adam Maguire lost 3 seconds in the pits there for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a big gap to try and make back up, and there he is right behind Thomas Vac in the Cosmo as well. Has to get through now.
Yep, Canapino is going to try and get past Duval as well, but it's not going to happen. Vac has got to be passed now by Maguire, and he goes around the outside, just blasts it round, and he's in a P14. The charge is back on for him, but the gap between him and Duval, I'm going to count it by eye as they come round. The gap now is at least 5 seconds. So Duval has gained big time over Maguire, who we think may have had damage to repair after all. It's possible that he could have got to request his pit stop or something, but I'll have to say, this could be a bit of a game changer here. This could bring the likes of Bach into the contention for beating Maguire, which he would not have had before that pit stop. Oh, how the tables turn. What? No, tables.
Well, this is what's going to be interesting though. Do any of the top three pit now? Because if they do, they've got a chance of fitting in the Adonis window.
Well, they haven't.
No, they don't.
He's in P4. Obviously, he decides he's got less to lose by doing that, so he might slot in this little window here. One of the Holland Racing teams is in. Let's see what Keersmackers does. Again, we're expecting hard tyres, unless he's going to be super conservative as he comes in, and I don't know whether those tyres are refreshed, but if those are soft, he's obviously on some sort of alternate strategy here. Yep, apparently it is hard. Obviously, it's just something on my end that is not refreshed in time there. Sixth coming round the source. Maguire is coming out of the source, and Keersmackers is going to slot in behind Maguire, but only by about 3 seconds.
Yeah, Maguire got a shift on then, and he managed to get past Sixter as well, so he's managed to make up a bit of the time there. Look how fast Bach is. I think Bach's gone through on Simoncic into Lecom.
Bach is ahead of Simoncic, I've just seen, yes. So into Lecom he goes. That was a brilliant manoeuvre there with the DRS. Oh, was there contact? There was contact on the entrance to the corner there. If you come round here, yep, note the slight contact. Now, that should not affect things too much, but it may have irked Simoncic.
No, Yerne looked as if he was wandering back to the left towards the braking zone, so nothing much in it, but I don't think Yannick had anything to do with that.
Well, this could be interesting. I mean, if Yannick had nothing to do with that, then that's just nothing there, but oh, it's getting tight at the top, isn't it? This could be interesting. I mean, he's going to have another go, presumably this lap, unless they both come in, but I think these two are going to be extending the tyres a little bit longer, perhaps, as Yannick Bach. No, he is coming in. Simoncic doesn't respond. He couldn't have responded with that late a jump, but Dennis Jordan might have a go now. But, crucially, Bach is in.
Yeah, they don't want to lose any time to the Adonises who have obviously pitted a few laps earlier. There is a window there to sneak back out into.
Yeah, and Bach obviously is going to hit his pit box very soon. We presume again it's going to be hard for him. No, it's mediums. Wow. Obviously he thinks he can get his tyres to go as far as they can. He's going to come out of the pits now on faster rubber than Maguire, who was on the hard, but he comes out ahead of Maguire. That is crucial for the Irishman.
Just behind, I think. Just behind, right behind him. He's made up so much time though. So, and especially on the medium, so we will probably have a chance of making his way past Maguire in the next few laps.
Speaking of Maguire, he's going to blast past Augustin Canapino now into P9. That was nicely done there. We're watching at the top though, of course, Dennis Jordan has got past Yerny Simracing. So Simracing has now dropped 2 positions in 2 laps, presumably at Lacombe, and maybe that's a sign his tyres are struggling in the low-speed corners.
Yeah, definitely, and because obviously the evolutions have then picked their speed back up. So Simracing had a bit of a revitalised few laps on around lap 12 or 13. Maybe his tyres starting to fade away now.
Quite possibly the case, and if that is the case, then I think he needs to make the call and get into the pits as soon as is convenient for him, because the more time he spends on those tyres, the more time he's going to lose, and if you want to win a race, you don't want to be losing time. I'm sure Yerny Simracing knows that as much as anybody. I'm preaching to the crowd here, but really he needs to be thinking that, not me thinking that. Is he going to pit this time by then as he comes round the final couple of corners? He doesn't! Jordan does, however. Was he blocked there? Well, if he was blocked, he decided to back out of it and try and hedge his bets with one more lap, but Jordan is in. Maybe he suspected Jordan was coming in, or sold him a dummy or something, but Matthias Moose has followed him. So 2 cars in the pits this time by Jordan and Moose. Dennis Jordan's going to come in, I'm presuming he's going to take the medium tyre, and he has done. Matthias Moose might go for the hards though, because obviously different teams going for different strategies, and we'll have to wait for the refresh on this one, but I think he might have gone for the hards. We'll see what Moose is taking. His Keersmackers retires. Lauren Keersmackers is out. What happened there? Was that a disconnect? Something has happened with Lauren Keersmackers, and he is DNF from the race, and it looks like he just disconnected, but yep, no, he went straight on. He went straight on and just went around the corner, retired. Was that brake failure?
Must be some sort of issue on that car, because if it was a disconnect, he would have just gone straight on into the barrier. So that's a shame, because he was looking strong.
He went round, and then he just failed to make the corner entirely. After Lassalle, he went through Lassalle's, went round on the barrier and parked it. It was almost like he's going for a burger.
Yeah, really strange, really strange. I mean, the burgers are meant to be nice at Spa, so maybe he's caught wind of it.
The Belgians know their food, but we're going to have to wonder why that happened. That is unfortunate. If it was brake-related shenanigans for Lauren Keersmackers there, but that is a weird one. I've never seen that.
No, me neither, because usually you see a bit of brake smoke or something. We've seen with Zapala's failure in Hungary earlier in the year. There was something coming out from the car, your brake dust, your brake smoke, whatever it may be. It's an indication, so be interesting to see what that was.
Wow, that's interesting. Apparently, Keersmackers got done as Yerny Simracing comes into the pits. Keersmackers was done for pit speeds violations. He sped in the pit lane and has decided to save the engine rather than continue. Now that is unfortunate. So easy to do, but so the penalty is quite severe for it.
Yeah, it's a shame. The penalty's severe, but it's a shorter pit lane, so you don't lose as much time here as you would on other tracks. So a bit interesting.
Fabrizio Colby has come in. Meantime, he's gone from Sixter's disconnected as well. He was coming into the pits, and now Fabio Sixter's gone. And that is a disconnection. I saw it with my eyes. That is a disconnect on the way to the pit lane, and that is going to hold him up massively. Well, that is terribly unfortunate for him, of course. Fabrizio Colby, meanwhile, has been in the pits. Come in on the soft, come out on the hards. That is a conservative strategy for him, but we expected as much. Matthias Moose has come out on the mediums in the end, so that's what he chose. But that is disastrous for Fabio Sixter.
Yeah, terrible luck. He did quite well, sort of putting in a few laps at the start to rise up the positions, and would have been interesting to see what he could have done in the second part of the race. Apparently Laurent forgot to press the pit limiter, or didn't press the pit limiter coming into the pits. That's why he ended up getting the speeding penalty.
It is so easy to do sometimes. You just miss misjudge your braking and go over by a few kilometers an hour, but that's all it takes. Sometimes all it takes is just a couple of milliseconds of bad timing and you have yourself a pit lane speeding penalty. I mean, it's so easy to do. Even to the best of the drivers can fall foul of it. I mean, I remember on the topic of brake failure, actually, I remember Risto Captain in a race I was watching once had a very interesting problem in the pit lane at Canada, I believe. He locked his brakes, reversed into the pit lane at about 100 miles an hour and got penalised for it.
Some things you just can't do anything about, can you? So, yeah, really unfortunate. A shame to see him out the race today.
Yeah, obviously Lawrence just decided it was best to save the engine. Some drivers here, got to remember, starting with engines that are rated at just 33% of life. Now, that doesn't mean that they will expire at 0, but it just means they're more likely to fail. Their lifetime is reduced as the car wears. And, of course, you got to remember, they make less power, making them inherently less efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking towards the top, Bock's going to be right on the back of Maguire. Maguire hasn't got anyone in front of him, so Bock has basically got DRS assistance down the straights, whereas Maguire hasn't got any help at all. Expect that to get really close now at the end of this lap.
This could get tense here. This is for net second, we believe, as Robin Panzer is yet to pit in this race. Obviously, when he does pit, we're expecting him to come out about 13th, 14th. But Duval will inherit the lead at that point. This is for net second between Bock and Maguire. And it turns out Maguire's little problem, while it has cost him a few seconds in the race, has not cost him seconds.
No, to be fair, I think that was partly because everyone was extending to get onto the medium tyres. But he did some good laps, managed to get past the traffic when he needed to straight away. And yeah, he's managed to keep second. The problem is he has sort of lost that, like I said, assistance that he was getting from Duval at the end of the first stint. Now he's really, really under attack from Yannick.
Well, but down to 20 out of 27 as we approach the halfway mark of this race. It's been a real race of attrition here at Spa. We have 7 retirements at the bottom of Jarl Tyen and Andrea Belloni, who both went off on lap 1 at Radeon. Then we had Tom Parker, who retired later in the race, George Sutton, who also retired, Gerrit de Vries, who retired, Laurent Kiersmakers, who had a pit lane violation until to save the engine, and Fabio Sixter, who disconnected and has still not come back. Alex Cooper and Thomas Vac are in the pits this pit lap, by the way. Cooper's come out on the hards, and Thomas Vac is, I'm presuming, coming out on the hards as well. But Robin Panzer leading the race, but due to pit imminently, we imagine.
Yeah, you'd think so, and Masciuli obviously still hasn't pitted. He's in 7th, Canapino in 8th on the harder tyres. Let's see what they can do at the end of the race. Obviously, they'll have nice, soft, fresh rubber to attack the lower end of the points.
Well, Robin Panzer has done something right. If he pits now, he's going to come out about 11th instead of 13th. He's gained a couple of seconds on the likes of Heras and Kilt. He should slot in behind Golby in front of Heras in P12.
Yeah, and that sounds about right, and that will mean as well he's got a little bit of time to sort of attack the bottom end of the top 10 with his softer tyres. So yeah, this gets interesting now because obviously Duval will be released. He might even get DRS beforehand, but Duval has still got a really nice gap to Maguire. Maguire's not really closing in at all, and it actually looks like Bock has dropped a little bit off Maguire now. So I don't know whether we're going to see them close back up towards the end of the race, or whether that is just Adonis with really nice pace.
Well, that pace hasn't been bad this race, that much is for certain. They've certainly not been bad by any means of the imagination. It's just the likes of Yannick Bock are giving Adam Maguire a run for his money right now. As we come across the start-finish line, the gap looks to me like it's going to be DRSable for Bock. Looks like 0.9 from where I'm sat, so he will have that flap in the rear wing to help him a bit down the straight. We'll compare the times and the speeds as they hit Lecombe. Remember, he's not really going to have the draft to speak of, is Yannick Bock, but he'll have less drag to deal with. Maguire looking like he's going to be hitting 317. Bock is 20 kilometers an hour faster, so that's really going to be a benefit to him.
I'm just wondering whether the hard tyres on the two Adonises are allowing them to push a little bit harder, because I was expecting Bock to, once he caught up to Maguire, to pretty much fly past. So yeah, that's interesting. Probably something we'll have to keep an eye on.
This is the problem, though, that Bok has got to deal with. As he gets closer to Maguire, the dirty air is going to affect him more, meaning he can't push as hard and he has to back off. So realistically, for Yannick Bok, the overtaking zone is basically Lacombe, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much it's Lacombe, and we saw how close you had to be out of La Source with some really good drive as well in order to get close enough to even have that opportunity at Lacombe. So let's see how close he can get here. He'll have the draft all the way around Blanchemont into the bus stop, then he's got to get good drive out of the final turn, and then get good drive out of La Source as well. So it's not just a one corner setup, it's got to be pretty much all the way from Stavelot, you've got to be pretty inch perfect.
It's not like your average Super League Grand Prix as it's far. It's real, it's almost an endurance event with how long you have to pace yourself for and wait for the opportunities. You know, it's not like you just go hammer down from start to finish. It's not like Monaco even, where it's like navigating the tight, twisty second, looking for every opportunity you can get. This is different. You've got to pace yourself around here. You've got to be careful. And Yannick Bok is trying to gain something on the Camel Straight here. Adam Maguire obviously is going to be around 317k. Yannick Bok's going to be about 337. In fact, he might even get before. He might go for it here. Round the outside. That's your speed diff for you. Yannick Bok with the overspeed. Almost an entirely different class of car. Just pop the wing open, pop the overtake on. Through he goes, no questions asked, into P3.
And he perfectly demonstrated exactly what I was on about on the last lap, so thank you, Mr. Bok, for doing that. Meanwhile, De Vries is right up behind Panzer, needs to get through, and otherwise he will lose time to these guys chasing.
That right there is the difference between overtaking and not overtaking. That is basically, on a modern Formula 1 car, what you've just seen there in Super League is our overtake mode. You press that, poof, you all of a sudden you've got a million extra horsepower and you're through. But Yannick Bok making full use of it. Mind you, Adam Maguire might be able to get one back if he can stay within DRS range. And round here, that's going to be more crucial for him than they could ever have imagined it to be. He needs the DRS, otherwise Jordan is going to be a serious threat.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why Bok has to get his foot down now to get away from Adam Maguire. Use the tyres that he's got, the softer compounder tyres through the middle sector to try and create that gap, and Maguire hasn't fallen away. Panzer had to come in.
He had to come in eventually, and he has now. She's going to drop down the order. We're expecting him to come out about 11th or 12th. We'll see where Kilk is right now. He's coming round into the final chicane. He should come out ahead of Kilk. Gobi is going to be an interesting one, though. Will Panzer come out ahead of him? I don't think he will. I think Panzer is going to be beaten out by Gobi here, and he will be, but Kilk is going to be, he's going to get a bit ahead of Kilk by a mile here. But Gobi is the one that he failed to beat. Panzer out in 11th. By all accounts, he's on the soft tyres now. By all accounts, a good stint. Mind you, Maguire and Jordan are not done yet. They are still hammer and tongs against each other here. This is not settled by a long way. Maguire has managed to get himself into an interesting position here. And it's Bok and Maguire and Jordan. This is not going to stop for a while, ladies and gentlemen. This is really where the battle is.
And this is championship critical as well, because obviously Yannick Bok in second, if Jordan can get through there, there'd be a car between Bok and Maguire, and obviously Simoncic is behind as well. So this is really intriguing for the championship.
Maguire needs to beat Bok to close that title lead deficit that he currently has. It is 14 points heading into this race, remember. So every position that Adam Maguire can take from Yannick Bok is crucial. He beats him here and he gains a few crucial points. It's chip damage, admittedly, but if he keeps chipping away at that title lead, by the end of the season, he might be leading the title again. And Yannick Bok knows that. He knows he has to defend his championship lead, increase it from 14 points, so that he almost has a race buffer to Maguire.
Yeah, every point counts, and you know you've got to expect that your rival's going to win a race or be ahead of you at some point. So when you've got the opportunity to extend your lead, you need to absolutely maximise that.
Crucial in terms of the teams as well, because the Donuts are on 230 points, but 5 points behind is Evolution Motorsports. And as it stands, first and third will go. Well, I say that, first and third now, like first and fourth, as Jordan goes around the outside of Maguire there. So Maguire drops to fourth, And now, I believe the tables have turned again because first and fourth, it's going to be close, but I think it just edges out second and third in terms of overall points. So Adonis may hold the team's lead.
Yeah, but we're not done yet. Bok is lapping faster than Liam de Vries up front, and the gap is close to just about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's 37 points versus 33 in Adonis's favour. So that's going to be 4 more points for the Dutch outfit. But Bok has now got a significant advantage over Adam Maguire because it's 18 versus 12 in the points. That 14 is going to increase to 20.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If ever there was a deja vu moment in Superleague, it was De Vries yesterday. It's De Vries today. You could not script it if you tried.
Yeah, that's Leon Bok, which is Yannick's brother, of course, so in Super League Lights yesterday. So, yeah, a nice bit of repetition here at Spa. And obviously, De Vries is leading, but he's under a little bit more pressure today. Bok is closing in on the medium tyres.
Well, Bok chasing Laval yesterday, Bok chasing De Vries today. It must just be a family thing. It's all in the Bok family, evidently. And Liam de Vries, well, it's the same Liam de Vries. There is only one Liam de Vries, and he is a brick wall at the moment for Yannick Bok, who cannot get through. He's 1.8 seconds ahead. This is why we call him that.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see if Bok does close up, how defensive Liam gets, especially when we know how fast that Evolution car is in a straight line. Both Bok and Jordan really flew past Maguire. Maguire couldn't really do anything about it. So, not sure what De Vries is going to be able to do if they do close in, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to see indeed, but this is definitely getting spicy now, and we're 60% into the race. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Maguire. Can he make any sort of position back? That's going to be interesting to see. But Gerrit Simic now the big threat. Look at him. Simic now, I would say, if my eyes are not deceiving me, within DRS range of Maguire.
He is, and he's on fresher tyres than even the two Evolutions were, so Simicic is going to be a threat for Maguire, and this race is really starting to look not the best for Maguire, especially after starting on pole.
Oh, well, it's possible, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're being told. Well, we saw that car go up at the pit lane. Maybe there is damage. Maybe he's nursing the car. We'll have to get an interview with him after the race to try and get the answer out of him. But he needs something to kick him up the posterior, so to speak, and get him moving again. His own brother, Luke Maguire, is in the comments saying, "I'll be a slow book, speed up." Maybe that'll do it for him. But look how close Simicic is. This must be game set and the point to Yerny, surely. Adam Maguire cannot defend with Yerny Simicic this close.
No, he's so much closer out of last source, and this should be game, set, and match for Simicic. He's got the inside line, easy peasy for the burst man.
Yeah, that car is either damaged or Maguire has had a sudden drop off of pace. One of the two. I suspect the former maybe clipped the curb too hard and got some under-tray damage. I don't know, but we'll have to find out from Adam Maguire himself. But this is just terrible for him at the moment. And it's meaning his championship aspirations are collapsing. He is now in a position where I believe he's going to score 10 points compared to Bok's 18. That will bring Yannick Bok 22 points clear. That is almost the race buffer that he's after. Yannick Bok might be in a position now where he moves to retain his championship thanks to this race.
Yeah, of course, there's still a few races left in the season. Anything can happen. But, yeah, Maguire slipped back through. It would be interesting to see if he does have damage. I'm not sure I've seen him on screen hit anything, so whether that was caught off broadcast. He's got a nice buffer behind him, obviously a big gap back to Canapino, and Canapino is yet to pit. So, yeah, he's got a nice buffer, so he should just be able to nurse the car home. Maybe he can stick with Simicic and have a go at getting back through. And let's also see what the tyres do at the end of the race. Obviously, they're on a harder compound. They might still have a bit of life in them in the closing stages.
Perhaps this explains the switch at the start of the race between De Vries and Maguire. If Maguire was damaged at the start of that race, if he took a curve too hard and his car lost a few tenths a lap, that's why maybe they switched them. Maybe Maguire switched to the rear gunner role and went shotgun for De Vries, as Jordan now has just flown past his teammate Yannick Buck there. Dennis Jordan, the fast lap master, has passed his own teammate. Now, that's proof, if ever I needed it, that the evolutions are being allowed to race, or maybe they're using each other to try and catch De Vries.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. It's almost like in NASCAR when you use your slipstreaming down the straight. You're bump drafting, you're slipstreaming, and you're closing in on the group ahead of you. That might be what they're doing because, yes, of course, Bock will need the points for the championship, but the team also need the points for Adonis. And if Adonis are leading the race, that's not good for the team. So the team will go towards the end to try and get De Vries, and if it doesn't happen, I imagine there'll be a switch made.
Well, as I think at the moment, I don't think the points are going to count. I think, to be honest here, they're going to be equal on points, although Dennis Jordan might be the faster of the two here. He might be the one to run ahead and challenge Liam De Vries here. Bock might be the one who just wants to consolidate his championship position at the moment, though the points gap to Maguire won't be as good as it would have been if he'd stayed in second. And, well, De Vries apparently keeping pace with Bock, so maybe they've released Dennis Jordan to try and hammer that time down, get a couple of fast laps in, apply the pressure, so to speak, to the Dutchman.
Yeah, not just that though. If Jordan can get after De Vries, get ahead and then hold him up a bit, that then brings Bock right back into the picture. And if Bock can get ahead of De Vries, and both of them can get ahead of De Vries, well, that's fantastic news for Evolution.
Panzer going to try into La Source. We haven't seen that very often in this race, but he's on soft tyres compared to Matty Blindek's hard, and somehow he's made it stick. Well, unfortunately for him, he's going to be given the draft to the precocious Paul, not pretentious. I'm getting my P's mixed up there. But Matthew Leineck, the precocious Paul, is going to go forward here, but not if Robin Panzer has anything to say about it. He flies up the inside of Augustin Canapino. Well, Robin Panzer, you colour me impressed, sunshine. That is how you make overtakes happen. Two in the space of two corners.
Yeah, obviously Panzer on fresh soft tyres. Canapino hasn't pitted from his hards that he started the race on, and Leineck came in at the same time as Maguire, I think, so he's on really old hard tyres. So yeah, that was why that was so easy for Panzer. He's going to chase after Moose now, and he might even be able to bridge a gap to Maguire, who knows.
Matthew Leineck is probably thinking the nerve this lad has to go through the source on me. He is not going to be happy about that, but at the same time, I imagine he's quite impressed. I mean, Panzer, significant fortitude there to go for it. I tip you my hat to you, sir, if I have one. That was a move and a half. That right there. Woo, honestly, La Source is not the first place we'd expect to see an overtake happen. We've seen this race. La Source is where you make the overtake happen on the camel, not the actual overtake.
Yeah, but I think what he had is obviously knowing he had the fresh tyres, he knew he'd have a good drive out the corner, and Canapino was ahead, so he knew he didn't have to worry about being a sitting duck down the straight either. He had the slipstream there for him to use, and he had the DRS. So
Canapino in. I don't know why he's come in. Maybe he'll go for soft tyres, going for the two-stop. Yep, he is, but I'm going to drop him down the order there.
He hasn't pitted yet. That's his first stop.
No. There you go.
His first stop. He started on the hards.
You're leaving it a bit late there, Augustin, but you're going to move down the order. But he's on fresh rubber now. We can really make advantage. Car off. Oh, that was a green stripes getting a bit hairy as he was getting lapped there. Not sure which one, but he's got to be careful because look at Simracing and Bock. Oh, Simracing and Maguire now. Sorry, I'm getting my cars mixed up now. I'm so excited about Yannick Bock in the top three. I forget that Adam Maguire is back. He's fighting Andy Simracing.
Yeah, slipstream and DRS will be helping him stay in touch, and like we said, if he can get back past Simracing, that will be big. Jordan only a second down on De Vries, will be in DRS very soon.
That is unless Liam gets a bit of a move on and pulls him out of DRS range because it's marginal as it stands. But Yanni Simracing and Adam Maguire, this could be good for Adam Maguire, but bad for Bock because then the points gap's going to decrease further. I believe it. We're going down to just 3 points. He was stuck to make about 12 before. 12 points.
Yeah, De Vries just gone half a second faster in the middle sector, by the way, so that's brought that back out, but it was a 7/10 different in the first sector. So interesting to see that the two cars seem to be doing, have better qualities around different parts of the lap.
Yeah, Duvall over the start finish is 1.2 ahead. I don't imagine DRS is going to be an option for Jordan here. Bok will have DRS though. Simic won't have DRS. Maguire will. So watch Maguire, watch Bok as they all come down the camel.
Yeah, just interesting to see. They'll close in a lot down the straight as well. Liam must have high wings on that Adonis, because his first sector and third sector he's losing out, and the third sector is pretty much just the run from Stavelo to the bus stop.
I'm watching Maguire. He's on 327, 328, 329. Only about 15 kilometers faster than Simic. We've seen cars have 20 kilometers an hour throughout there, but then again, the draft wasn't as strong as it could have been. So Maguire partially slower down the straight, but you got to remember there are lots of variables to play with here.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know this race is not done yet. And we said earlier that Simic and Maguire seem to have better stints at were better at the end of their stints. Now they're both against each other on track. It will be interesting to see how that fizzles out.
I want to put something here, Ewan Gale. Dennis Jordan is on the medium compound and has gained about 6 or 7 tenths in the opening sector. Liam Duvall is on the hards and is making his way 2 tenths back in front here and stands to gain in the final sector as well. So those mediums, as good as they are in the opening half, in the first sector where it's cornering, he's got to watch the temperatures in the second half, and that's why he's backing off.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously the Evolutions are able to use their straight line speed in the first and third sectors to be able to give them the opportunity to hold back through the middle sector, through the punishing corners like Puon.
Watch the gap though on the start finish. It looks like it might be DRS compatible for Jordan. There may be time to be gained on Duvall here. Won't be enough for an overtake, I reckon, but it's going to pile the pressure on the Dutchman here. This race is not over, and Dennis Jordan on lap 33.44 knows it. Is he going to get the DRS? That's the question. He comes round then onto the Camel Straight. He does get it. Let's check the speed differential. Duvall is going to be on 320 at the end. Jordan is going to be 325.
Yeah, so it's not actually that big a gap. It's not actually that big a gap as we thought it would be, but it'll be close by the end of the lap and definitely be able to set something up into Le Com on lap 34.
Liam Duvall, you need to watch your back, sunshine. You've got Dennis Jordan coming for you. This was the evolution plan, it seems. Let Bok go behind Jordan and have Jordan go up front and attack. Send your best man forward. That's what they've done in this race, though. Yannick Bok in a rise of his own, trying to keep Simic and Maguire behind. Simic and Maguire have actually separated out significantly. I think Adam Maguire is going to consolidate P5 here at the moment, but Duvall has got a fight on his hands if he wants to win this race now. He's had it all his own way for 75% of the race. The last quarter, he's got a challenge.
Yeah, the problem that Evolution are going to have is if Jordan does get through on Duvall, it's then giving Duvall DRS. So it'll be interesting to see how that works and how they're going to be able to try and get Bok ahead.
Remember the back markers as well. It's possible they can get the DRS off the back markers, so if Duvall comes out of traffic at just the right time, he could find himself in a position where he saves himself by having a back marker there. So that could work in his favour too. Across the start finish, the gap has gone from 8 tenths to 6 tenths. This may be it, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan can smell the opportunity.
Yeah, Duvall's got great drive out of the source, so that will create a little bit of a gap. Let's see how close Jordan can get through Eau Rouge, Radion and onto the chemistry.
It's going to be crucial for him here. He can smell it. He's probably grinning madly at the thought of the race lead. Dennis Jordan is going to hammer it down here. The Camel Straight beckons him. He's doing 340. He blasts down the inside of Liam Duvall, who breaks as late as he dares, but it's not late enough. Dennis Jordan assumes the race lead and is set for what I believe to be his first victory of this season.
So obviously this is where Duvall was faster when he was out in front. So let's see what Jordan can do to keep Duvall close to Bok.
He stands on 56 points as it stands in this season, Dennis Jordan. He is 10th in the Drivers' Championship. Can he hold on and get victory at the Belgian Grand Prix? By no means is he a title contender, but he's a contender for the win here today.
Yeah, Evolution have been so much stronger on the second stint. Obviously having the option to extend the first stint, come onto the medium tyres has really paid off. Let's see if these mediums can hold off for the final 10 laps.
He is a capable and talented driver in many respects, Dennis Jordan. Often cited as one of the cream of the field here in GPVWC Super League. but will he be able to hold off the brick wall, Liam de Vries, in these final laps? We know how much he is capable of taking race victories, de Vries. We've seen it in Super League and Super League Lights, the reigning Lights champion crowned recently, but he's got Bok behind, Jordan ahead. He is the feeling in an Evolution sandwich right now, and he needs to break out of it if he wants to take the win today.
Has Bok got enough straight line speed to get past de Vries when de Vries got slipstream and DRS? That will be interesting to see. We've already seen Evolution going once and then twice past Simracing in this race, and they managed to shuffle Simracing, that's the tongue twister, out of the DRS and out of the slipstream. Let's see what they can do here.
Speed differential coming up. Jordan is 323. De Vries is 330. That's bad for Liam de Vries.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is the thing that's going to hurt Bok, is that de Vries is picking up the slipstream and the DRS from Jordan. So I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do to get past here.
This has got very interesting very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. We thought it was going to be de Vries for the race win, then Dennis Jordan appears, and he's wreaking havoc with the standing as he's in the lead and trying to pull away from Liam de Vries. Is this going to be what Evolution planned? Remember, de Vries is keeping pace with Bok, but Jordan is leading the race. This could change everything.
Just looking back down the top 10, Panzer's managed to pass Moose for 6th, so that contra strategy has really worked out for Panzer in the second burst Basilea.
This is really getting interesting now. I thought it was going to get interesting, but not this interesting. Really a sudden change in the standings now, and a sudden change in championship standings as well, supposedly for the likes of Adam Maguire, who's, well, now 5th to Bok's 3rd. But if Bok gets up to 2nd, the gap increases again, so he needs to get a pace on here, and he's 1.8 behind Simracing.
Yeah, and if Bok gets to 2nd, I'd expect Bok to get to 1st. I can't imagine that Bok would finish in 2nd with Simracing and Maguire down the top 5.
Dennis Jordan, I don't imagine he's going to give the race win up to Yannick Bok very easily. He's a very capable driver and deserves to win in his own right. But, well, we'll have to see what happens there. But it's going to be interesting to see how this race does. And look at de Vries, he's got his defensive, as you like. Down onto the camel straight, leaving Bok almost no opportunity. And it's the defensive move of the century from de Vries that keeps him in 2nd place. But that's how hard it is. Look how far to the inside he had to go.
Yeah, brilliant driving from de Vries, knew exactly what he was doing, right on the limit of acceptability. Gave Bok enough room, but made sure that he had the optimum line for Lacon.
Wow, yeah. Liam de Vries is not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. Those Evolution cars might be good, but de Vries is made of stern stuff. He's not going to let 2nd place evade him that easily. He will fight for every millimetre of track that you allow him to have. Don't even give him that, because he'll take it from you.
Yeah, but now we showed his hand for Yannick Bok, so Bok knows what he's going to do on the next lap. Let's see what he can do to change it up.
Aye, there's the rope. He's wise to his tactics now. And look at the run. He's getting just into the final chicane here. He's wise to his tactics now. Maybe Bok will pull a surprise card of his own. Who knows?
And importantly, de Vries hasn't got DRS. He hasn't got DRS either because Jordan's broken the 2nd. So
this could be a massacre here for Yannick Bok if he gets through here. This could be an interesting one for sure. Bok is going to have a serious run down the Camel Straight. He knows what de Vries is likely to do. Can the Dutchman hold off the German? Reigning champion versus reigning Lights champion in action here. And Bok goes down the inside. It is one-way traffic all the way. Yannick Bok on a one-way highway to 2nd place and makes his way through. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we see what happens at the front. Will they race? That's the question.
It'll be interesting to see. De Vries couldn't do anything there. He was trying to pick up a little bit of a slipstream from Jordan, who was 1.5 seconds ahead at the time. But yeah, Bok had so much straight line speed, there was nothing he could do.
Oh, well, we're getting confirmation as well from further down the field that Adam Maguire is nursing a damaged car. So it's as I thought. Maybe he just clipped the curb too hard, or maybe he tapped a wall somewhere. We didn't see it. But Maguire's car is not in perfect nick here. and that is going to be why he's down in 5th at the moment. Yannick Bock is 2nd, but will he move up to 1st? Will the Evolution cars be allowed to race? We started this race with an Adonis 1-2. It may end with an Evolution 1-2.
What Jordan will probably do here is slow down a little bit, at least give Bock the DRS to defend from Deval. That's
more than likely what's going to happen, but is there an agreement in place to allow Jordan to hold the lead, or will Bock take the lead? Watch his telemetry, please, Ewan and Gail. I'm interested to see if he's going to lift here or anything. I'm going to keep a close eye on him myself. Bock and Jordan, look at the gap as we come into La Source. It's just under a second by the looks of it. So maybe Bock will be given the DRS to hold Deval behind, but Deval has DRS too. That's why.
Yeah. It's going to be really risky if they're going to do a switch now, if they are going to do a switch, because Deval's surely going to take advantage of that.
Well, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan is holding outside position. Bock has the DRS. Deval has the DRS. But there's not going to be any overtaking going on. Liam cannot get through here. He's going to have to use all of his pace on his own to get through, and that's what he's threatening to do.
Yeah, they couldn't do the switch then because Deval would have gotten through as well, so they need to try and create a little bit of a gap between each other before they can even think about switching, if that is indeed what they want to do.
Going to be interesting to see if Deval can do anything. I mean, really going to be tricky here to find out for him an opportunity to break this hierarchy that has developed itself at the top of the grid here. The two Evolutions working in tandem now to keep Deval behind. He's going to have to pull something out of his card. And here, he's going to have to pull something quite incredible out, whether it's a move into the chicane, a move into the source, something just to break the constant cycle of eat, sleep, try and find an opportunity, do not do, repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at Adam Maguire.
Simracing is getting involved. He's going to run down on Deval into the final chicane here from absolutely nowhere. He's going to break his lead as he dares. Adam Maguire has got the defence, no contact between the two, but Simracing gets through, albeit not without controversy on Deval there. There was slight contact between the two.
Yeah, look how much Deval was struggling for traction out of the bus stop as he tried to get on the power. I don't know whether he's just a bit too eager on the loud pedal, but Simracing had much better drive. He'll get a bit of a gap now. Let's see what Deval can do in retaliation.
Oh, well, this has just got even spicier, ladies and gentlemen. Deval moves down the order into P4. Gerrit de Vries is going to defend as hard as he can. He's got nothing to lose here, remember. He is fighting for the title, and he's got nothing to lose because his teammate is down in 6th. But Deval gets back through. Maybe Simracing and Deval could work with each other in these closing laps to try and break the hierarchy at the front. Really, it's their only option.
Yeah, I'm not sure they got enough pace though to do that. It looked like Deval was struggling for his tyres, like I said, out of the bus stop, and there's already a 1.5 second gap to Bock ahead. Whether they've managed to close in a little bit with the DRS down the Camel Straight, I don't know. Be interesting to see what these two can do now.
Well, Bock and Jordan at the front is where we're really going to be watching. I'm going to be interested to see if there's any overtakes happening on the Camel or even anywhere else in the track. But I think the plan will be to hold Jordan in P1, have Bock behind, have his DRS and defend from Deval, who in turn is getting closer and closer and will gain more from the draft. So Simracing really, he could be in a position to slingshot them all if something disastrous goes wrong here. He's in the perfect position.
Not just that, his tyres are a few laps fresher as well. He extended his stint quite nicely at the start of the race, so Simracing will probably have a little bit more to lean on should he need to, if he does get past Deval here.
There's an old saying in the ancient folklore that the most dangerous men in the world are the ones who have nothing to lose. And Yanni Simracing, look at Deval, he goes wide out of La Source. He wants the DRS from Simracing, and is that going to backfire though? He's given Simracing an opportunity. Simracing, who remember is 70 points down in the championship, he really has nothing to lose, and he's not making this easy for Deval, but he does get back through on the outside. But will Yerny outbreak him? That is the question. No, he won't. But what a move from Deval to try and get the time back. But was it worth it? I think Bock's gained time there.
Yeah, but they were gaining time anyway, so Deval clearly trying to consolidate third position. Really good gamesmanship. I'm sure Simracing will be absolutely furious with that. He's really been played.
Well, Possibly always backing him up into Maguire. That's a very good point, though, made by our cameraman Sandeep Singh there. Is he trying to back him up into his teammate? This is brilliant gameplay here from Adonis. There's nothing illegal about it. It's all covered by the rules. But it's a 200 IQ move from Duvall. And look at Simracing. He's going round into the outside and Blanchimont. Oh, and there's contact now. Oh, this is excellent. In the run-up to Blanchimont round Stavilo. Oh, this is just getting too much, ladies and gentlemen. Pass me my pills, please.
Not just that, he had a look down the inside into Pouon, which really would have been crazy. So brilliant. He's going to have a look surely into the bus stop. Duval just driving like a brick wall.
Oh, and here we go. Simracing down the inside of the Belgium chicane. Duval trying to defend. Is the contact between the two. Simracing gets back to Maguire. Wants a piece of the action now. This is brilliant stuff. This is what makes Superleague, ladies and gentlemen. We've not had a race like this in ages. And now we've got one. 3 cars scrapping for the podium. 2 teammates. We got 2 more teammates at the front. What's going to happen on the camel? Hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen, because I have no idea.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. So Duval chose to take the RS on the last lap. He then went up the inside into the
on the
source.
grass. Gerrit Simracing is being pushed for all he's worth. And Maguire is going to go through. He's going to, oh, he almost got the old Hackenden move there. Contact though between Duval and Simracing. And Maguire's going to get backed up. And oh, Gerrit Simracing rounding into the barrier. That is a terrible one for him. He will be fuming as his own teammate gets past.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm that much of a fan about what Duval did there. He really pushed almost too hard, and Maguire got into the back as well. Interesting tactics from the Adonis guys. I can't say I blame them, but yeah, Simracing and Burst will be absolutely fuming.
There'll be a lengthy stewards meeting after that one, I can tell you that much. Gerrit Simracing will be seething at that. He just got hit a little bit round by Maguire, it seems. Duval had to exit to the chicane, and he'll be dredging up so much in the stewards after that. This race is not over, not even when the cars cross the finish line. But surely now, the 1-2 is confirmed for Evolution. Now we wait and see what will happen at the front.
Yeah, he's got big damage.
Bernie's car is crippled there. Look at this steering angle. Matthias loses a shoe-in to go through, as is Gobi, and Matty Bleineck might go through here as well. But I'm watching the 2 Evolutions. What will happen? Will Jordan, having served his purpose, be allowed to win?
I fear the sensible thing would be to switch them, especially now Maguire's up into 3rd. Simracing really fighting hard. We saw Sven de Vries in the Formula Challenge race last week. He had quite a lot of damage, very similar suspension, and the steering angle was all over the place. He managed to nurse the car home to a top 10. Let's see if Simracing can do the same.
Well, I say this right now, Dennis Jordan will be hoping for 3 words not to be heard on the intercom, and that of course will be, Dennis, it's Alex. Oh, I think he wants to win this, Dennis Jordan, and I wouldn't blame him for it, but Yannick Bach, it's going to be interesting to see here. This is not over, even though it looks like it is.
Yeah, it makes sense for them. If they switch, it would make sense, because obviously Bach will get the points of the championship, but
yes,
Evolution aren't losing points for doing that. They're getting exactly the same points haul for the team.
Here is the thing though, you and Gail. Hungary 2016, Michael Francesconi was in the exact same position. Halfway around the lap, he led the race, he led his teammate, Erasmus Shuli, driving for Adonis through. The team were fined £1 million. Would it be seen, but that was with a 20-second gap. This is 0.6. The circumstances might be similar, but will it be seen the same way?
It would be interesting, because we had a very similar situation as well this year, only on Tuesday night in the Super Cup. Pescara switched 2nd and 3rd place round. That was about an 11-second gap, I think it was, between Giuseppe Lino and Alessandro Quintai.
At the end of the race?
It was on the last lap, so Quintai got through.
Wow.
He made a move for 3rd, and then Lino made a move. So here's Bach. If they're going to switch,
watch the tactics here. Is Bach going to go through? No, Jordan defends. They're going to race.
That's good to see. That's brilliant to see. I thought it would be the sensible thing to do, but obviously we want to see the racing, and yeah, this is brilliant.
Oh, go on, lads. Go on. Race to the end. I want to see this now, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think Evolution would switch them, to be honest. We know Bach, we know Jordan. They have an immense amount of respect from each other. They're going to fight to the finish. This is what we wanted. Has Jordan gone? Has Dennis Jordan gone? Is he disconnected? And the worst, I know he hasn't. It was a temporary glitch. Dennis, stop that, man. You got me heart racing.
Well, I was going to say that's one way to switch them.
Oh, Dennis, please. This is too much at this point in the race. Come on, son. Oh, you had me for a second there. Oh, I swear these guys are trying to get me to have a heart attack. I'm telling you now, they are trying to stop my heart in the Belgian Grand Prix. Is this some kind of conspiracy? Honestly, this is not what it's to commentate anymore.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they've been listening to us two all night.
What they want, I'm telling you now, what they want is they want me in that number 27 car. They want Dennis Jordan to commentate.
Hey, that would be great.
Oh, wow, ladies and gentlemen. There will be no doubt in anyone's mind at the end of this race that this will be contender for race of the season. There has just been so much going on. We made our predictions at the start of this race. They were thrown out. We asked for predictions on postcards and emails and comments and stamps and the whole lot, but nobody could have predicted this.
Yeah, just looking down the top 10, by the way, it looked like Malinek pulled a Deval, got out the way at La Source, and now he's going to get DRS and a nice slipstream on Matthias Moose for 7th.
Oh, well, P7 still being contested over. We must not forget Gorby and Moose and Mlinek. Oh, Matty Mlinek. Oh, he gets the drift on into Lacombe. And he's going to let Moose go through. No, he's not. He's going to get him on the outside. Credit where it's due. That was brilliant stuff there. But we cannot help ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, but be distracted by the goings-on at the front of the grid. Dennis Jordan, who has not won a Super League race since Japan of last year, the season in which he finished second in the Drivers' Championship, is going to gain the great redemption by the looks of it here, ladies and gentlemen. Doff your hats, roll out the barrels. It's a well-deserved victory for the one, the only Dennis Jordan, who wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Fantastic!
Yeah, I love that.
Do you make of that, ladies and gentlemen? Dennis Jordan, a winner once again. Superb from the German. Yannick Bach, the reigning champion, completes the 1-2 for Evolution Motorsports, who soar ahead in the team's championship. Anna Maguire, though, not that far behind in the end. The gap to Bach is lessened, ultimately. Bach will gain points on Maguire, but not many. Liam Duval, a valiant fourth in spite of everything, but that is very, very, very preliminary because of Robin Panzer P5, Fabrizio Gorbi P6, Maciej Mlinek P7, Matthias Moose P8, and Yerny Simoncic 9th from 3rd. What will he have to think about all this?
He's going to be absolutely fuming, I would imagine, because there was clearly gamesmanship. I don't blame Duval at all. I don't blame Maguire either. Unfortunate with the contact, actually. The contact came from Maguire.
Oh, there's been a crash.
Caught out.
There's been a crash on the cooldown lap, but it was Yerny Simoncic. I've just seen. Wow, that's not usually looked highly upon, ladies and gentlemen. And, Adam Maguire with a message here before the race has ended too. Adding to the controversy, you're not supposed to do that. Yerny Simoncic, I've just seen, was he backed into by someone? I don't know. But there was definitely a collision on the ending lap there, which is not supposed to happen. Oh, dearie me, he'll be possibly reporting that as well. But Dennis Jordan, the winner of the race today, the first time since 2019, and he finally finds his way back onto the podium. It's not been his season. It's been a tough one. His only podium this season was Britain, but he's back on the top step of the podium again today. That is the race he needed.
Yeah, definitely good to see Dennis back on top as well. Ever since I've started watching this championship, he's been one of the top guys and one of the fastest guys, especially towards the end of the race. So really happy for Dennis there. Really good race.
Well, I think one of the most popular winners of recent years, Dennis Jordan, in a Super League race, in what may go down as the race of the season. And we've got some spicy interviews coming up for you now, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to have all the thrills, all the spills, and everything else as well to come. I'm breathless just thinking about the race. How am I going to conduct these interviews? Oh, we're going to need Sandeep Singh to play bodyguard here, because I think things are going to get interesting in the broadcast booth very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere, because this could be interesting. What a race, though, you and Gail. Definitely race of the year for me there. Possibly race of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed every single bit of it. Obviously, I watch every race, and yeah, right up there with the best of the year. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It seemed to be something happening every single lap, whether it was strategy, whether it was battles all the way through the field as well. It wasn't just up the top that we had battles. So yeah, it was great to watch, and drama right down to the final lap. Okay, so Josh has just disconnected. So if we will have an interview with Dennis Jordan, race leader, then race winner. Hi Dennis, how you doing? Congratulations on the race win. How was that for you?
Well, nice, finally back, I guess.
Absolutely. Was that what? Obviously, with starting a bit further down, obviously the two Adonises are on the front row. Was that what you were expecting from this race, or were you sort of aiming for a damage limitation, third and fourth?
Well, I mean, it's always easier if you start from the front, but I don't really know what was happening at Adonis today. I mean, one thing like overdriving their tires like this doesn't really make parents proud, but what they did to Yanni wasn't really nice. So I guess
And
we
you had
knew we had a chance. We had a chance against them. We had a lot more top speed. So yeah, we weren't really worried about it. But
You had so much you had so much pace in that second stint as well, and obviously you were behind Yannick at the start of the stint. So was there a swap between the two of you for you because you were faster, or was that a bona fide move?
well, yeah, I just told him like I'm faster, and he didn't defend it. Would not have made sense. So we got the 1-2 anyway. So yeah.
Ah, perfect. And that first win of the season, that's enough to push you on for the rest of the season, I take it, yeah?
Well, I guess still a lot of races. Adonis isn't slow, at least in quali, so we still need to keep pushing.
Ah, perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Congratulations on your win today, and hope to see you back at the top in the future. Yannick Bock, who came second, obviously. Yannick, great result for you in Evolution today. Obviously, we've just spoken to your teammate, Dennis. How was that for you?
Yeah, my race was very good today, and yeah, I'm happy with P2. Dennis was quite faster today and had better tire wear in the end, so congrats to him. He did an amazing job. Yeah, we are happy to be on top in the team standings, and yeah, we try to win the next races.
Perfect. Well, I think Josh is back in. So, Josh, if you want to take it away.
Yes. Hopefully I am. Apologies if there's been a slight drop in quality there. I've had to switch over to my phone because my internet's backed in with the excitement of the race, unfortunately. But Yannick, great result on that second place. Fighting your teammate, Dennis Jordan, all the way to the end. Dennis, at the end, obviously, you did get the win, but was there ever a plan in place for allowing you two to race if that situation came across?
Yeah, obviously we are free to race. We both want to win every race, and today he was the faster guy, and in the end he had just better tire wear, and so he deserves it today, and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, a fantastic driver he is. You yourself are quite the driver too. And a second place, valuable for you because it means that you do increase your gap over Adam Maguire in the Drivers' Championship, and that's going to be crucial for you.
Yeah, obviously I hope to win the championship in the end, but we are looking from race to race, and yeah, obviously try to score more points than the Donis guys, and yeah, hopefully it will work out in the end.
Indeed, and well, for you as well as a team, for yourselves, you find yourselves in a position now, Evolution, where you've skyrocketed above Adonis in the team's championship thanks to that one too. So that must be a big boost heading into the rest of the season. You think you can take the team's championship?
Yeah, I think we have a good chance to get the results like this in the upcoming races, and yeah, we try to push each other, and when we are 1-2 in the end, it would be perfect.
Yeah, obviously, the one two at the end, the perfect end to a perfect race, which may well go down as one of the best we've had this season. Yannick Bock, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, I think things are going to get interesting now because we have Liam Duvall waiting for an interview. I believe he's going to be brought into our broadcast booth so we can have a chat with him about the race and, well, more specifically, something that happened near the end of the race. I'm just thinking, are we going to be bringing him in, or are we waiting for Adam Maguire? No, we have him with us now. Liam Duvall joins us in the broadcast room. Liam, P4 in the end from you. But let's get to the end of the race. Obviously, you ended P4, but let's get to the start of the race first. You started second, had a fairly good start, and then managed to get past your teammate Adam Maguire, which really helped.
Yeah, it did. Obviously, we knew that whoever came out of turn one was going to, have a hard time keeping that place because of the massive slipstream down Camel Straight. Sorry, no, it's Camel Straight. And we kind of arranged that if I had a good run, I would get past him. I can't actually remember if I did get past him, but either way, if I did, then that's what we arranged. But yeah, actually, the threat from behind wasn't that big. I thought Yerne, they had a lot less wings, so I thought it would be, we would be setting ducks on the straight. But in the first lap we weren't, but after that we were.
Yeah, well, indeed. And, well, I do need to ask you a couple of questions that, unfortunately, you might not want to be asked. Firstly, on your teammate, Adam Maguire, we heard rumours throughout the race that he may have had some damage to contend with. Did you know anything about that?
Yes, he had the track bug. That's very unfortunate. So he had dark blue damage. And that really
is unfortunate, that.
Yes. So he was...
See, we thought he might have hit a curb or something, but it was an actual bug in the track. Well... Oh, that's even worse, really. That couldn't have really been avoided, I guess.
No, I think it was like lap 10 or maybe lap 8, 7, something like that. So yeah, basically the whole race he had some dark blue damage, and that's not what you want.
No, he was fighting a losing battle from the start then, really. I mean, they are so few and far between, but, ultimately a very brave fight back from Adam Maguire. But yourself ending up P4 not without controversy, it must be said. What happened in those closing laps?
So we knew Yerne was just faster than us in the straight line and faster than us in general in the race with those medium tires. So I tried to not get the RS in, I tried to let him pass before the activation point, and he did the same eventually. And it worked out for me once, but then I was a sitting duck. I tried to give Adam a slipstream in the final part so he could take the inside, but Yerne smartly covered the inside as well. Right after passing me. So then I went to the outside as well, because I know if you can stick it around the outside, you're pretty safe and you're pretty good. I would prefer the outside in a battle in that corner. So I took that outside, and he pushed me a bit off the track. I don't really blame him for doing that because, there was so much going on. So I understand. And then I honestly don't know what happened. I haven't watched back. I didn't hit him at least. But he spun, or something happened, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he finished or where he finished. But
He did
it's
finish in the
unfortunate.
end. He finished in the end, but he was 9th. I think it was contact with your teammate, Adam Maguire, that sent him round.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, you don't like to see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it's all going to be sorted out in the end. There'll be a few pre-race and post-race briefings, maybe a few stewards meetings going on to decide all this. But for now, at least, Liam Duval, you are P4, and a very well-deserved P4 it was on the first time you've taken to the track this year in Super League. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully a podium next time, but I'm happy.
Hopefully the win, never mind. You were on contention for that.
Oh yeah, that would be even better. Yeah, definitely.
Go on, push the board out. Liam Duval, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, I don't think we're going to get Adam Maguire with us, unfortunately, nor Yanni Simičić, so I think we may have to end the interviews there, but still some very eye-opening interviews, you and Gil. We learned a lot about the race just from those, and of course, from Dennis Jordan, our race winner.
Yeah, we did. It was very interesting to hear what the guys had to say, especially Liam at the end there. So quite significant damage then for Adam Maguire. That would be why he was losing pace, having had such a strong qualifying. And yeah, I think Liam's right as well. It was unfortunate, the contact between Adam and Yerne. I feel like there would be a bit more of a case to answer if it was Liam that had contact with Yerne. Given the move that was being made, I think Adam might have just been caught out by the closing speed as Yerne was offline, and it was a small tap, but it was enough to turn Yerne around. So interesting to see what happens with that.
It is going to be very interesting, and what's going to be even more interesting is the fallout from this into the next race in 2 weeks' time, of course, when we leave Belgium and head into round 10 of the Super League Championship. The title is really starting to shape up now, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't want to miss a single Super League race from here to the end of the season. But until the day comes where we find ourselves commentating on another Super League Grand Prix, I'm Joshua Anderson. I'd like to thank my co-commentator, Ewan Gill, for stepping in at such short notice today to provide such colour and vibrance to the commentary as he has done. Thank you, Ewan.
Thanks, Josh.
I'd like to thank Sandeep Singh as well, who stepped up to do cameras and has provided us with very, very interesting tidbits of information throughout the race as well to keep an eye on. So thank you, Sandeep, for that. And of course, I'd like to thank you for watching this fantastic, epic Belgian Grand Prix. I'm Joshua Anderson, and until 2 weeks from now, we will remember this race as the race for the season, but we'll also remember it as the biggest comeback since Lazarus for one sensational evolution of Dennis Jordan.